expired in accordance with the determination of the Business Committee, I call on Mika Whaitari to make her maiden statement. Kia ora.
Speaker. Inga mana, inga reo, inga karanga maha, o ngā hau e whā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Mr. Speaker, it is with honour and humility that I stand in Aotearoa, New Zealand's House of Representatives, as a member for Electorate Rāwhiti. I wish to first thank and acknowledge the many whānau, iwi and friends that are here in the public gallery and who have travelled to join me in this historic moment today. Tēnā koutou. To my parliamentary predecessors who passed the Māori Representatives Act in 1867, which led to the formation of the 4 Māori seats, Northern, Western, Southern and our beloved Eastern. To the inaugural member who held the Eastern seat, Tareha Te Moana Nui, and to the first Māori woman member, Eri Aka Matu Ratana, kei te mihi, kei te mihi, kei te mihi. To my fellow Māori MPs in the House today, tēnā koutou katoa. Mr. Speaker, our nation is founded on the blood, sweat and toil of generations of men and women that worked the land, on our wharves and the freezing works, the shearing sheds, with railways and in forestry to build our nation, our economy into the stronghold that it is today. In 1916, the New Zealand Labour Party was founded on a single kaupapa, to be the voice of change for the working class people. As this nation has evolved, so has the party. But the founding principles remain the same: to care for the poor, the disenfranchised, and to speak for those within our community that cannot for themselves. In 1935, in the first Labour-led government, the Right Honourable Michael Savage, in his wisdom, formed a political alliance with the Ratana Church, a precursory step to forming an allegiance with iwi Māori. The bond with the New Zealand Labour Party and the electorate of Electorate Rāwhiti is unique and entrenched in its own right. From 1943 to 1996 and from 1999 until today, Electorate Rāwhiti have entrusted the Labour Party to advocate for the rights of its people. A relationship that expands some 70 years. But I state this as a friendly reminder that this historic relationship should never be taken for granted. Mr. Speaker, the relationship between iwi Māori and Labour-led governments have progressed considerably since 1935. Under Labour, the Māori Trade Training Scheme was introduced, Te Reo Māori was recognised as an official language, and under the strong influence of the Honourable Maturata, the Waitangi Tribunal was established to address treaty grievances. However, iwi Māori have not forgotten, in recent times, the challenges to this relationship, particularly with the introduction of the foreshore and seabed legislation and the Tūhoe raids. Mr. Speaker, despite these challenges, it is now time to move forward and to shift our focus on what lies ahead of us as a party and as a nation towards the game changer known as the Māori economy. The Electorate Rāwhiti electorate extends from the East Cape of the North Island to the Wellington region and includes Gisborne, Hawke's Bay and the Wairarapa, as well as most of the Hutt Valley and Wainiomata. Almost 1/4 of these residents in Electorate Rāwhiti speak Te Reo Māori. This compares to barely 4% in New Zealand overall. Over 1/4 of those employed in the electorate are in the agriculture, forestry, fishing and manufacturing sectors. We have strong iwi within the electorate. Ngāti Porou, Te Atanga Māhaki, rongo whakata, mai tā manuhiri, rongo mawahine, Ngāti Kahungunu, Rangitane, and Te Ati Awa. During the 6 weeks leading into the by-election, I had the opportunity to speak to our people, who were clear with me about the needs of whānau. Our people need jobs. Our rangatahi need opportunities here at home. And our kuia and kaumātua need access to quality health services. Everyone deserves a warm, affordable home. Everyone deserves a fair go. The national unemployment rate is 6.8%, but for Māori in Hawke's Bay, unemployment is 2 times that at 13.8%. Long-term unemployment on the East Coast has increased from 10.9% in December 2008 to 19.8% in March 2013. In the Wellington region, which includes the Hutt Valley, unemployment went from 3.6% in December 2008 to 7.9% in 2012. That's an increase of 9,600 people who are unemployed. Mr. Speaker, the people of Ikaro Rāwhiti need quality, sustainable jobs. The manufacturing sector, which employs many Māori, has taken a hammering in my electorate. 125 jobs at Sedenko Foods in Gisborne, 2009, gone. 304 jobs at Ovation Meatworks in Waipukurau, 2011, gone. This year, 70 jobs at New Zealand Post Petone, gone. And between 50 to 80 jobs at Godfrey Hirst Woolen Mill in Dannevirke, gone. The flow-on effects of these job losses on whānau and small communities is devastating. Mr. Speaker, the people of Ikaro Rāwhiti need quality, sustainable jobs. So what can be done? Local solutions to local problems, working with local champions, is a community development approach focusing on job creations I have seen work successfully in times of despair. There are many local champions on limited resources doing their bit to help those most in need. I salute our community advocates, unions, churches, schools, businesses, marae and iwi Māori organisations, including the Māori Women's Welfare League and the Māori Wardens, for your compassion, caring and sense of community commitment. Regional development is critical to the success of the nation's sustainable economic growth, and more needs to be done at the regional level. In Ikaro Rāwhiti, it is about people as much as it is about market drivers. Oil exploration and dams that wipe out complete valleys is not sustainable. There are alternatives, and greater investment in regional research and development will show that. Developing high-level strategic goals with community movers and shakers encourages ownership and therefore commitment. I worked for many years in the Community Employment Group of the former Department of Labour. We were as diverse as the communities we supported. Company rebuilders, retired executives who work with many company owners on the brink of closure to keep them afloat, and by association save jobs. Super grands, retired people who assisted young people with budget advice and meal preparation. Our Labour shock response team, who provided much needed coordination and support when sudden job loss announcements were made, through establishing temporary resource centres to help find alternative employment, career counselling and CV preparation. And Main Street, a small town renewable initiative that showed with a lick of paint and a few pot plants, out-of-towners will stop in small towns where once they would drive through, bringing much needed money to the local economy. A similar approach was taken with a small community whose major employer closed its doors, leaving nothing to absorb the many redundant locals. Every community has a unique point of difference, and after a series of community planning meetings, the locals in casual conversations joked how whales visit their coastline as their unique point of difference. The rest is history. Whale Watch is now a multi-million-dollar business that not only employs many locals, but has almost single-handedly been the catalyst for economic growth in Kaikoura and the surrounding district. So what can we learn from these initiatives, from this approach? Government has an enabling role to support hapu, iwi and communities to create sustainable solutions for whānau. The key word here is enable. Mr. Speaker, this era is the beginning of a Māori economic renaissance and recognises the Māori economic power base that has been fought for by whānau, hapu and iwi on the streets, in the courts and most recently at the negotiating tables with the Office of Treaty Settlements. I pay homage to the many men and women, some no longer with us, who have worked tirelessly in pursuit of justice and equity through the treaty settlement process. It would be remiss of me not to acknowledge the Honourable Michael Cullen, the late Honourable Parakura Horomia, and more recently from the opposite side of the House, the Honourable Chris Finlinson, for their collective commitment to settling treaty grievances. The role of iwi Māori in a post-settlement era is to grow and protect its asset base and to create intergenerational wealth. Innovative iwi Māori are exploring opportunities and how these opportunities provide wider returns. Ngāti Whātua's commitment to getting their own people into affordable and sustainable homes, and Ngāti Kahunganu's recent purchase of Tautani Farm to act as a catalyst to unlock the economic potential of other land blocks, to provide investment opportunities for recent settled hapu groups, and ultimately to provide jobs. Investing and creating opportunities for their own people is unquestionably applaudable, but it is not the responsibility of iwi Māori alone. The role of government is to enable innovation that will create jobs. Tailored regional investment in areas like research and development, technical internships, and encouraging multi-partite arrangements including iwi Māori, local government, businesses, schools and unions will accelerate this form of innovation, just like the Whale Watch example. I am convinced that what is good for iwi Māori economic development is good for the nation as a whole. Mr. Speaker, if this great nation of ours is looking for a game changer, then I am offering one. Regional investment in partnership with iwi Māori to unlock inherent opportunities that will create real jobs throughout the electorate and for the people of Electorate. I come into this House with a commitment to work with any party that has policies that work, policies that create sustainable jobs, warm and affordable homes, quality health services and clear pathways, be it education, training or jobs for our rangatahi and people of Electorate. I was raised in a loving whānau, surrounded by values-based role models, many who shaped who I am today. I wish to acknowledge some of them. Firstly, my great-grandmother, Rera Moana Hakiwai, Ni Paratini, who gave relentless service and unconditional love to her whānau, to her faith, and to her beloved Hokarere Māori Girls' College. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of my late great-grandmother, and the Hokarere community, we need to complete the chapel.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
Her daughter, my grandmother, Ruruhira Robin, Ni Nepe Apatu, known affectionately as Auntie Lulu, was renowned for her ability to keep our men, when speaking from the pai from straying off topic by a certain glare. Suffer fools, she did not. And to my dear Uncle Pong Wiley, father of the former member of Te Taitonga Tutakawa, who taught me the value of work, hard work. A man that never minced his words, his brutal honesty and cheeky charm would disarm the most disconcerting amongst us. He taught me there are no shortcuts in life. You get out what you put in. And finally, the late Honourable Parakura Turea Horomia, who taught me to love our people, to serve our people, and amongst all else, hold the line. Mr. Speaker, in summary, I have spoken about the real issues facing our people of Ikaroa Rāwhiti. I have spoken today about the historic relationship between Ikaroa Rāwhiti, the New Zealand Labour Party and the government. I have highlighted the challenges and moreover identified emerging opportunities and an approach that would assist to create sustainable quality jobs in a post-settlement era. To every single person that supported me throughout the arduous and well-fought by-election, thank you for your dedication, commitment and heart to retain the Ikaroa Rāwhiti electorate. To my fellow Labour caucus colleagues, in particular our leader David Shearer, Moana Maki and Anaya Mahuta and Annette King, for your time, your resource, your energy and wisdom you gave my whānau and I during the election trail. To my parents, Wiremu and Mai Whaitiri, thank you for your love, thank you for your sacrifices and thank you for your opportunities you provided all 5 of your children and for carrying on that commitment to our children, your mokopuna. To my sister, Joanne Rowe, besides being the typical big sister, was for 14 years Parakura's out-of-office support. You and your girls went to extraordinary lengths to support him over the years, none more than over his last few months. From the electorate, thank you very much for caring for our chief, Parakura. To my sons, Nohorua and Wirangi, thank you for being awesome young men. The world is both your oyster, and all I ask is you make the most of your opportunities at school, on the sports field, and particularly in your next YouTube clip for next year's general election. Finally, to my partner, Kiritapu Lindsay Allen, your unconditional love and support knows no end. Thank you for all that you are. Thank you for all that you will be. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to stand before this House as a Labour Party Member of Parliament and the first elected woman for the Eastern and Ikaroa Rāwhiti electorate. As a mother, a daughter and product of hard manual labouring parents, I present myself to the New Zealand House of Representatives as a humble servant of the people of Ikaroa Rāwhiti and to our great nation, Aotearoa New Zealand. May I be judged on my actions and held accountable to those that I seek to represent. Nō reira e te iwi, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.